All right. So like, what do you what do you understand like about karma?
I don't know. I guess there's like I know there's like a few different interpretations, right? Like, I don't know, man, like in my academic spaces, they talk about like there is no like one feminism, like everybody has their definition, and that's kind of like a word to the wise when it comes to like interacting with somebody about that topic explicitly, like somebody will like give you a nod, or like, that's just kind of like a good practice. And I feel as if what you described is also the same way. Like I feel like everybody kind of has their own definition of karma, but for me, I don't know, like the compelling ideas that I have around it right now are karma is literally the building blocks, like or like the creative resources that we're pulling to ourselves consciously in any space and in like at any time. And then I also like understand it on like a ancestral level. That's its own thing. Yeah, dude. Like whatever goes
You
around,
feel
comes
like
back around, kind of stuff. It just depends.
let's start like with the um like the ancestral aspect. Like what do you feel like that means to you?
To me, I guess like on a biological level, like I still hold the epigenetic triggers or like traits that my greats had, and and like were brought about by circumstance, right? Like, people say that epigenetic triggers can happen for any moment, like anything flips them in some capacity, and you just have like a certain series of gene changes and expressions, and then all of a sudden like you have fucking cancer or something, so I don't know. I think about karma in regard to my ancestors, and it's like what the sins of the father are held in the body of the son, kind of thing. Like they talk about it in the Bible in that way. It's like 3 generations, which I mean is kind of like weirdly accurate to what science is saying. The influence of your ancestry in your like how your DNA is expressed. So that's one, I guess. I don't know, dude. I'm talking too much. I want to hear you talk.
No, that's really good. I mean, I'm just feeding off of what you're saying because that's kind of how I operate. I don't really have a direction with my conversation, but as you're speaking, I'm getting some good insight. So, when karma is epigenetic, when it is in your blood, it's in your whole makeup, your fabric. Do you feel like it's something that you'll always be stuck to or trapped by or involved with?
I mean, yes and no, I guess. Like I have this one body, and I know that like certain things, I have certain limitations. But at the same time, like I also need to recognize that like I also have like an infinite amount of abundance, right? Like people have done more with less. And for me, it's kind of like, at least now, like trying to restructure how I once thought to like fit in that I literally have no barriers. I don't know. Like in the regards of like capability and thought, like like the more clever you are, the more options you have, right? Like, this isn't like a zero-sum game.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Keep going.
I don't do fucking know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm friends with a lot of really clever people because like you need that shit. I mean, like seriously. I'm not like it takes me a long time to like really think about things and come to a place where I feel like I can talk about them confidently. But there's certain people that just like, they like yourself, like you do things intuitively and it's just like it comes as naturally as like walking or breathing.
Right. Do you think that you are here on the planet to deal with karma? Do you think that it's your responsibility, or do you feel like it's just something that's acting on you like gravity all the time or something?
I don't know, man. I kind of want to think that karma's like more like the conflict in the present, right? Like conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just like when two things come together and there's some kind of dynamic.
You're saying conflict? Say that one more time.
I need to know. Fuck. That karma is like the conflict that comes about from like the present, like two things coming together and having to like.
So would you
I heard somebody say.
Do you feel?
Say it one more time.
I'm sorry. Do you feel like it's Do you feel like, so you're saying it's a consequence to an action, so to speak, or?
I mean, I just think that like there's no. I mean, like if you talk about like just how time works, right? Like I could have came to that yoga studio that we met at and like we not interacted at all, and it would have probably been a completely different thing. You know what I mean? But like just sheer proximity. I feel like is I don't know, I think it's called a moderator, right? It's just like a thing that you can kind of bet on in the regards of like making something happen. And I think when it comes to human behavior, the more somebody does something, the more likely they are to do that thing. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just kind of chance, but that's also time, right? And so that's why I don't know. I got away from it. What was the question?
It's that. Do you feel it is a consequence to certain actions in a sense?
Karma is the conflict that comes about when two things come together. Yeah, dude, it's like reconciliation. Like when I realize that people have done people have done more with less. It really puts me in a headspace of what resource aren't I seeing here in some way, and so like it's more asset based, I guess. But I'm new to that, dude. Like I'm just thinking of this in reflection, and I need to prioritize my thinking.
So I don't know how much time I have. I really only have like 9 minutes or whatever, but recently I feel like what was standing out to me is like in the movie Doctor Strange, uh, I don't want to ruin it, so I'm gonna try to speak.
Don't you dare be a spoiler, bro. You can't tell me to go watch the movie and then tell me the ending.
Well, it's just that I have to actually tell you, because if I don't tell you,
no, we're not. Hey, we gotta end it, dude. I'll watch the movie tonight, but I'm not about to have you tell me the ending of this movie, bro.
no, I'm not telling you the ending. I'm telling you that if you don't look for it, you won't see it. Is what I'm saying.
You say that, bro. You say that, but now I want to try.
So if you don't know what I'm actually talking about, how could you try to see it?
I don't know. Maybe I just do. We talk about it later, and I'll be like, bro, that one thing. You're like, damn, he got it. You know?
Okay, let me just say this: we're talking about it already. So there, look for look for karma in the movie. Just look for it, and I won't say more than that. That's all it was.
That's it.
Which is that I think that it is. It's just like very intricately woven into the fabric of everyone's reality. Like I heard something recently that like one karmic body can habitate or work its karma out through a million different humans. So when you say karma, you like we capsulize it. Just put your definitions to that. One karmic body may need to be worked out through a million different humans. So even within your own family's tree, generations and generations, you said the impressions that we're having in this reality right here and now, especially if we're not conscious of them, they're actually sinking into a deeper level of our reality, a DNA level, a deoxyribonucleic acid level. And in that way, you are literally your attitudes, your responses to things, your impulses. These things they're not even yours. And how many times do you have to come and do this? Get these attitudes. How many times do you have to get angry about the same stuff and be futile about the same things that you've been? How long? How many lives? So that's the question.
To a dude that stayed up all night last night writing a paper that I should have just planned so much better for. So when you're telling me this, like I'm thinking about like, damn, dude, you never really catch up on your sleep, and this is just a straight hit to my DNA, and I'm just like, fuck. You know, so keep going. You're at many levels.
Right, and I mean, it depends on how overall. I mean, if it's just a couple of months because you're in college, and that's the energy that it takes.
But all I'm getting at with that is like that you were talking about like knocking our own family tree, and like I think that's actually a figure of speech that might be inappropriate. I didn't mean to say that, my bad. Nobody's knocking anybody's family tree, but you were saying that in the regards of you know, like self-deprecation, at least I felt like. You know, what's interesting is, yeah, bro, when you think about like just how many people might be affected by me speeding on the freeway and cutting one guy off, you know, it like makes sense as to how something can be expressed over 10,000 bodies, you know, or something like that. Yeah, man, like one fucking emotion or one moment, really, because that's all it takes.
Like the body of anger, it might just be one big body, but it's being expressed in all of us and at a different level. It's like anger could be like a certain electricity that we're all plugging into. Go ahead.
No, man, I mean, that's, you know, I've been hearing more and more recently about like entities and their proximity to people in like an influence that's created in like emotional bodies. that like, I don't even know, dude, who's talking to me about this? It was weird. Yeah, like people will say like, yeah, that's not me, you know, like they'll like feel a feeling, they're like, oh, that's not me, and then they'll like look around. It's interesting, you know, like we describe interactions and the relationships we have with other people as like a vibe for sure. But I also happen to believe that there's like a greater regulating like body of emotions that I feel like can be influenced, but that's not to say that we don't have ultimate control. I don't know if that makes any sense.
So there this will have to be continued, by the way, because I have to end it in like 2 minutes. But I would say, I guess, in a good on a good note, do you feel that it can be, it sounds like you just said you're not ultimately trapped or whatever. So you feel like you can break your karmic ties, or?
Yeah, dude. I mean, like when you have to realize that like the one premise of this whole conversation is that I just realized that I have more abundance in my life than I need to literally do anything. And it's like, now what? Like, how is everything that I've brought into my life somehow a reflection of me, and what responsibility can I take in a moment is like probably the most powerful thing anybody can do. I don't know, man. I'm working on it. That's for sure. That was like the whole thing. Like karma is the same way, because like what we have to work with is karma. Like that's the tinder, you know, like those are the stones if you're trying to like make a fucking cabin, you know, whatever.
And I think any given moment has its own karmic ties. And I think the way almost to stay clear free is what they were pointing to throughout the ages, but it's a little bit something more deeper in its reality, which is staying in the present, because I think the karma has its power in past and future. If you're based on that, if you're looking for a destination, I think how you break karma is you actually have to begin to understand, to fall in love with the process, whatever the process may be.
Interesting.
And I think the process, once you become completely like involved with your process, you know, and not like the destination or the reward, you're not manipulating life for that, then I think that's when you will have some access to mukti or liberation. But with that said, I do got to end it, and I appreciate you as always, man. We have good conversations, and we'll continue this one after you see the movie. So that would be a great segue for you to go see it.
Hey.